mostrar, puedes ir a lo mejor que contiene fruta y es un porcentaje mínimo y el resto es agua. ¿Me entiendes?
Y buena pregunta, ¿cómo se sabe? A veces tienes que tener fe en la gente.
Ok, yo creo que aquí estamos en vivo. Ahora. Ya, todos están escuchándoles. Todo lo que han platicado. Mire. Aquí están dando nuestros secretos y... A ver.
Pasándonos tips y toda la cosa.
Sí.
Saludos si me están escuchando y si no, saludos de todas formas.
Buscando Dr. Cook. No, todavía no he llegado, pero viene. Oh,
Ahí está.
ahí está. All right. Okay.
You want me on video, Casey, or no?
If you want to be, you can be. Maybe, I think so. If it'd be good, people would like to see your beautiful face today.
Let me see if I don't, it says you can't start, how do I do that? Start video. It says the host has stopped it.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to make you the host. You should be able to do it now.
Okay.
Yep, perfect. I think you're coming up. All right, there she is. Dr. Cook. All right. So just so you know who we've got, obviously we got Brigham here.
Hi, Brigham.
Astrid over here.
Hi, Astrid.
You remember this guy, the Puerto Rican?
I do know him.
Okay. Pues estamos llenos ahí ahora. All right, so we're good. So the idea here is just to we'll just question and answer, right? There's a lot of questions that people have had about the products, about seed nutrition, maybe maybe even like certain times to take product and when and where. And so just kind of things like that. We'll plan on going for like what, 35, 40 minutes? Yeah. Is that
okay? Perfect.
There. So, all right, we're going to start in Spanish and we'll just go back and forth and translate. That's why this guy's here. Okay. So todos, pues bienvenidos aquí a la llamada con Dr. Cristina Cook. Es un privilegio estar aquí con ustedes hoy. Obviamente teniendo Dr. Cook con nosotros siempre es algo buenísimo cuando tenemos la oportunidad a escuchar a ella explicando un poco más de lo que estamos haciendo con semillas y esos productos que está pactando todos, ¿no? Entonces, pues aquí estoy con Brigham, el perla en la compañía, pues es un privilegio. Gracias, Brigham, por estar aquí con nosotros. Tengo Astrid, un nuevo oro muy reciente. Mire cómo está brillando todavía como su oro. Pues ella acaba de lograr eso.
Próximamente diamante.
Así es, en camino a diamante. Y aquí el señor Ricky.
Hola, saludos.
Latino en la compañía y está aquí acompañándonos para que pues todos nosotros nos portamos bien. Él nos va a golpear si no. Ok, bueno, pues vamos a comenzar eso. Brigham, ya tienes algunas preguntas y pues tradúzcalo y luego si Astrid y Ricky, ustedes tienen algunas cosas, también podemos todos hablar, comunicar por los próximos 30 minutos. Okay, all right. Go.
Hey, Dr. Cook, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, thanks for giving us some of your time. It's really appreciated by all of us.
Oh, I enjoy working with you all, so thank you for allowing me to talk.
Oh, thank you so much. So we have this kind of, I'm sorry, I'm going to say something in Spanish really quick.
Okay, absolutely.
Le estaba más agradeciendo a la doctora por darnos de su tiempo. Ella está extremadamente ocupada. No sabía yo que ella tiene que filmar como 40 videos para la compañía. Entonces, el que ella pueda hacer esto es algo muy grandioso. Dr. Cook, we have some questions that maybe you can walk us through and teach us more just about, the seed nutrition and everything. And something that always people are always asking is, is there real validation behind seeds? Are there studies, scientific studies about seeds? So let me just say that in Spanish really quick, and then
okay.
I'll pass it to you. Una de las preguntas que siempre nos llegan es, Hay validación detrás de las semillas, hacen estudios científicos acerca de los beneficios de las semillas para la salud. Es algo que nos llega muy pronto.
So the answer to that is there's a lot of scientific studies around seeds. There's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of articles around seeds and oils that are made by the top universities in the world. There's a lot of different research around it.
Entonces, de que sí, de que hay cientos de miles de estudios acerca de los beneficios de las semillas por muchas instituciones diferentes y son bastante fáciles de encontrar.
But I do want to let you know the problem is that that people don't own the seeds, and so there's not one company promoting or controlling that research, which is why that research has not been disseminated everywhere.
Dice de que uno de los detalles de esto es de que las semillas no se pueden controlar, porque obviamente son de la naturaleza. Entonces, cuando hay investigaciones y publicaciones, no hay nadie que las esté diseminando por lo mismo.
And I want to make an example of that. I worked at Pfizer, and we had billions of dollars to work with. And so when we worked on, I'll use an example, Viagra or Zithromax, we have a lot of research, and then we pushed it out through all the societies and all the social media and all the journals. With nutrition companies, they don't have billions of dollars, right? And they don't own, for example, black cumin seed. No one owns that actual. So even though there's thousands, there's a lot more articles on the research behind that than like Zithromax or Viagra. No one's pushing it out everywhere to everyone. And that's one of the reasons that the society was important, because we've got to get the information out there to people.
Dice uno de los ejemplos que utiliza es, por ejemplo, trabaja para Pfizer, que son los que hicieron la Viagra. Y pues ellos tienen miles de millones de dólares a su disposición. Entonces, el empujar esto a través de artículos, de publicaciones, por todas partes, será muy, muy sencillo. Pero cuando se trata de suplementos naturales, no tienen el mismo presupuesto, entonces no es tan sencillo. Y por lo mismo de que nadie tiene un derecho exclusivo a la semilla del comino negro, pues aunque se hagan estudios, no hay nadie que esté constantemente promoviéndolos.
And one more thing, because I think this is an important answer, and I think people need to know this. Medical schools are funded by pharmaceutical and biotech and medical device companies. That's who funds and gives grants to your medical schools. So they, of course, speak about things like that. No one from black cumin seed, for example, or from the seeds are funding all the medical schools. So your doctors are not trained on things like this.
Dice que otro detalle, eso es muy importante que se sepa, es de que usualmente el dinero que se le da a las universidades, a las escuelas de médicos, viene a través de las compañías farmacéuticas. Entonces ellos son los que están controlando todo eso.
Los estudios.
Los estudios. Entonces por eso que es importante tener como nuestra sociedad de semillas, porque ahora sí tenemos algo que es parecido.
Los doctores van a estudiar más cosas de semillas en vez de nada más puro químicos y medicina, ¿no?
Así es. Y Dr. Cook, maybe you can talk to us a little bit about the RAIN products, Soul, Core, Bend, Pure, some of the things that we have here. But maybe we can get started with Soul. Just teach us a little bit about this. A few people here who are new, who never heard of our products. Maybe you can walk us through a bit of the history of why seed nutrition.
Right.
Let me say that in Spanish.
Okay.
Estoy pidiendo a la doctora ahora que pues estamos hablando acerca de semillas, de que hablemos acerca de nuestros productos, específicamente de Soul, Core, Bend y Pure, un poco acerca de la historia y que nos enseñe acerca de lo que estamos consumiendo.
Yeah, so Soul is our flagship product. And it was originally used with children that were undergoing chemotherapy or radiation and they weren't thriving. And this particular product helped support them so that they could gain weight and be healthy during chemotherapy and radiation.
Lo traduzco yo. Este producto Sol es el producto estrella, ¿no? Es el producto principal de la compañía y fue creado originalmente para ayudar niños que estaban en tratamientos de quimioterapia. Y el propósito del producto era para crecer y elevar sus su sistema inmunológico para que puedan seguir, con sus tratamientos.
And I think one of the things that I haven't spoken about enough that we need to speak about is that the reason they chose this product to be used with children that had cancer and that were having chemotherapy and radiation is that because when you do chemotherapy and radiation, you usually do not want to increase the antioxidants because most products that do that can protect even the cancer cells, but black cumin seed and even raspberry and white Chardonnay, but especially black cumin seed is known to actually kill cancer cells and protect the good cells. And I don't know of other products that are out there anywhere that do that but ours.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Entonces, una de las razones por las cuales se utilizó esta mezcla es porque usualmente cuando estás pasando por quimioterapia, se trata de evitar los antioxidantes, porque los antioxidantes protegen todas las células, aún las células cancerígenas, pero que esta mezcla del comino negro, la semilla de uva, la semilla de frambuesa, protegen las células buenas, pero también atacan las células cancerígenas. Entonces, es muy diferente. Ya no conoce ningún otro producto en la industria que haga esto.
So when people go to their doctors and they say, can I take vitamins during chemotherapy and radiation, the doctor's natural response is no, because that's what they've been trained to do. But our products are unique because of the black cumin seed. They actually get rid of cancer cells, but a lot of doctors are not educated on that yet.
Thank you, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Dice ella que usualmente cuando vas al médico y está pasando por quimioterapia, si le dices que vas a tomar un producto antioxidante, te dice inmediatamente que no.
Vitaminas, ¿no?
O vitaminas, perdón, dicen que no porque es lo que ellos están entrenados para hacer. Sin embargo, por el comino negro, sí lo puedes tomar porque ataca las células cancerígenas.
So we're really fortunate at Rain to have a product that does that. That's not a pharmaceutical, that's a nutraceutical that can help everybody. And people just need to be educated on it more.
Dice que estamos muy afortunados aquí en Red de tener un producto como Soul, que ni siquiera es un farmacéutico, es un nutracéutico y podemos ayudar a muchas personas. Now, Dr. Cook, you've mentioned having worked for Pfizer and obviously other companies. Why don't you share with us a little bit about your background? The room's filling up pretty well here, so we have a lot of people that can hear you. But just a little bit of your background, because you do have, a pretty impressive trajectory, and we are very lucky to have you here at RAIN. So let me say that in Spanish. Estoy preguntando a la doctora pidiéndole que nos comente de su historial, porque la verdad somos muy afortunados de tener a una doctora de doctores, alguien con la trayectoria de ella, con la habilidad de que ella ha trabajado en múltiples fases de la industria de la salud. Entonces, para que nos comparta un poco acerca de quién es ella.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I feel very fortunate to be at RAIN, to be able to work on these products so that we can get these out to people. But most of my career has been in the biotech and pharma and government sectors, working with the FDA. And working with some of the top biotech and pharma companies. I worked on the teams where we would work on the product and launch the product. So I'm from a background of working to finalize products to get through the FDA and then being part of the sales, marketing, and research clinical teams to launch it to the doctor. So 99% of my career was working on new products that no one had ever seen, and then we launched them. So that's where I would say over 20 years of my life. So I did cloning, genetic testing back in my 20s. I'm a PhD psychologist, as well as a PhD in strategic science and postdoc in nanobiotechnology and bioscience engineering.
Okay, we have to revisit some of that.
Just a few things. Now we got to translate.
Okay.
Mire, ella es una estrella. No.
Sí, es cierto.
No, go ahead. You start off filling the gaps.
Sí, gracias. Ella tiene más de 20 años trabajando en esta industria. Ha trabajado con las compañías farmacéuticas de más alto renombre. Tiene experiencia no solo trabajando con las compañías, pero en la creación y en el lanzamiento de estos medicamentos, ha trabajado para entidades de gobierno, ha trabajado con el FDA también en este proceso de lanzar los productos, los medicamentos, pero también ha trabajado en el desarrollo, en el mercadeo, en las ventas de cada uno de esos. Entonces tiene algo muy expanso de esa forma y lo ha hecho por ya más de 20 años.
So go back and say the things you've studied: biotechnology, nanotech.
Yeah, I have a master's and a PhD in neurology psychology. And then my second PhD was strategic sciences, which is a mixture between science and math, Casey. And then postdoc is bioscience engineering and nanobiotechnology.
Okay.
Entonces, tiene una maestría en biotecnología y tiene un doctorado también en...
Como no es matemática. What would you say? Like, it's not math.
strategic
It's
science.
it's statistical analysis. So,
Estadístico. Okay.
Yeah.
We're just trying to make sure we get it.
all that fun stuff with statistics everyone loves.
Tiene su maestría en bio-nanotecnología también y tiene una maestría también como psicóloga.
Yeah.
Según
Yeah.
importante.
And one of the things I think I have not really communicated either that I think is important for people to know is I was brought in, the reason I was able to work with so many companies is I was experts that were brought in companies when the product couldn't get through the FDA or we couldn't get insurance approval. So I'm kind of was like a crisis management scientist that would help them get it approved through the FDA. So one of the reasons, despite all the challenges sometimes we have at Rain, I'm very familiar with that because that's been my whole career, is basically finding things to get things through different channels so that people can use it.
Entonces, una de las formas en las que, y la razón por la cual ella logró desarrollarse en esta industria es porque cuando las compañías llegaban a un tope con el FDA, ella entraba como una administradora de crisis y se encargaba de que los problemas que habían pudieran resolverse para que los productos pudieran ser aprobados y pudieran pasar. Entonces, cuando tenemos problemas así como esos aquí en Rain, ella es muy familiar con ese tipo de cosas. And so with that, Dr. Cook, we also know that...
And that's why I'm excited.
Oh, and we're
Oh, no,
excited.
I was just saying I'm excited because I believe that this year Rain is going to break through a lot of ceilings to really get a lot of our information out there of what we're doing.
Excellent. Dice que está muy entusiasmada porque ella sabe que este año Rain International va a poder romper muchas barreras que han estado ahí antes y vamos a poder lograr muchas cosas. Dr. Cook, I also know that you do a lot of teaching. You teach other doctors. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was an adjunct professor at Johns Hopkins. So I trained the residents and some of the professors in oncology, neurosurgery, orthopedic surgery, and immunology on basically research and science and how to work with the FDA and patents and stuff like that. So I even did one course and class with the head of the FDA. We taught at Johns Hopkins. And I also have taught at places like MIT and Harvard on human monoclonal antibodies and stuff like that at the medical schools.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Did you get a lot of that?
Yeah.
Okay. La doctora es una profesora en el hospital Johns Hopkins con oncología.
Enseñando a los doctores que estaban estudiando oncología,
neurología, ortopedia
y
inmunología. También ella enseñó clases con el departamento del FDA y una de sus clases fue con la cabeza del FDA. Ahí
parte de eso, ella ha enseñado personas en Harvard, en MIT, obviamente muy conocidos esas universidades, hablando de, ayudándoles en diferentes aspectos de medicina.
Yeah. So that's quite the resume, Dr. Cook. We're very lucky to have you.
Well, my goal is to be able to speak at those universities on nutrition and to be able to bring our products into those kinds of universities. I think that will help us. So I'm excited about the future and doing that.
Le digo que somos muy afortunados de tenerle y pues ella también está muy entusiasmada por el futuro. ¿Qué preguntas quieres?
Es su testimonio. que hable de su testimonio, pero ese es un testimonio espectacular en cuanto a el
So one of the
embarazo.
things that they're asking Dr. Cook is if maybe explain to like some of the things that you've done like personally in your own family and how
Sure.
nutrition has impacted your, you know, your family.
Sure. So I had cancer at the age of 24 and 25. I had a brain tumor, a spinal tumor, and I had it metastasized throughout my body with melanoma, squamous, basal cell, everywhere inside and outside my body because I was pregnant with twins, and one of the twins developed into a tumor at the end of the pregnancy instead of a child, and I lost the child. So I kept one and lost it, but because of that, the cancer went everywhere. And I dealt with almost all of that through, I talk about this a lot, drinking spirulina shakes that had spirulina, aloe vera, milk thistle, and a lot of the ingredients we have in core. I gave up everything and drank those because I knew that as a scientist, there were a lot of studies where they weren't using chemotherapy and radiation. And I basically did the same thing with my dad. I did the same thing with my son now that's 15 years old because he's had cancer. And it doesn't mean that that we don't still have health issues, but every time they come up, I will use some types of pharmaceuticals, but mostly I deal with nutraceuticals in the treatment of me and with my family.
A la edad de 24 años, la doctora desarrolló, bueno, diferentes tipos de cáncer. Ha tenido cáncer en su vértebra, en el cerebro, otros tipos de cánceres que se han metastizado. Cuando ella estuvo embarazada con gemelos y uno de los bebés se desarrolló en un tumor. Obviamente perdió ese bebé, pero logró quedarse con uno. Y a través de esto, el cáncer se regó por todo su cuerpo. Y a través de mucho estudio ella se dio cuenta de que no todos los cánceres estaban siendo tratados con quimioterapia, que había muchos que se hacían por medio de opciones naturales. Así que una de las cosas que ella hizo es, ella se hacía batidos de espirulina. Como saben, espirulina es uno de los productos que está en core.
Su papá, su hijo.
Hizo lo mismo con su papá, que también tenía cáncer. La nutrición fue la forma en que lo ha tratado. Ahora su hijo ya tiene 15 años, entonces gracias a Dios él se ha desarrollado bastante bien. Y sí, utiliza algunos farmacéuticos obviamente, pero utiliza más que todo la nutrición.
Yeah, and I want to say this because my dad had stage 4 advanced head, neck, and throat, and he should basically 50 to 75% of the people that have that are dead within a year. And it's been, I think, I don't know, 6-7 years. But I can tell you that my dad, and he's had 2 times it's come back, and each time in different areas of the body, each time he gets on either 4 sol a day or 2 sol, 2 red sol, and then 2 core a day and 2 bend and 2 pure now. And every time it's come back, they go back in and they're getting ready to do. I know that he will end up dying someday of something, but I want people to know that you've got an individual that I couldn't love more than I love anyone else, my dad. And that's what I've put him on. I know some people use more sol than that, but that's what has helped my dad is what I just told you that he takes.
Entonces su papá tiene cáncer en la fase 4, en el cuello y en la garganta.
En la cabeza.
Y la cabeza. Y
más, ella está diciendo como 50% a 75% de la gente que tienen este tipo de cáncer mueren dentro de un año.
Wow.
And he takes that. I always tell people it's important to take that throughout the day. When you have types of malignant cancer, to support the body and the cells and get rid of the bad cells, you need to take a packet of our products either every 2 hours or every 5 hours. It's better if you take things on an empty stomach, but for people like me, I have to eat food with our products. And we can talk a little bit about when to take the products. I would like to address that with people, but I'm letting everyone know that to keep those ingredients in your body, to make those cells that are healthy stay healthy, and to get rid of the bad cells, it's got to be taken throughout the day. It can't just be taken once. It's got to be taken throughout the day if you're sick.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
seguimos, mire, terminando de su papá, ¿no? Obviamente él tenía este cáncer y pues fue hace como 6 o 7 años. Ha regresado el cáncer un poco, pero siempre cuando este cáncer viene, ella está usando y poniéndole en como 4 salt, 2 core, 2 band y 2 pure. Y ahora está explicando la importancia de el uso. ¿Puedes traducir lo que?
Sí, dice que es sumamente importante que se puedan tomar a través del día, entre cada 2 horas o cada 5 horas, a través del día un paquete de cada uno de estos.
Como y normalmente como sin alimentos, ¿no? Pero a veces como ella dice que cuando ella está usando los productos tiene que consumir algo, un poco de alimentación aparte, pero funciona mejor, ella está diciendo como
en el estómago vacío.
Yeah.
And we can't say we cure things. I have to always give that disclosure because legally we can't say that. But I will tell you this, when people tell me they don't get a result from our products, I'm usually thinking they're not taking them right. And I'd like to have the opportunity to explain that a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me tell them what you just said. Obviamente tenemos que hacer la declaración de que nuestros productos no curan nada. Legalmente no podemos decir que los productos curan nada. Sin embargo, cuando ella comparte el producto con personas y le dicen que no les hace efecto, es usualmente porque no lo están tomando correctamente. Y a ella le gustaría hablar acerca de esto ahora mismo. Go ahead, doctor.
So doctors all go to school to study different things, right? Everyone has a specialty. If you look at my specialty, I've spent over 20 years in college studying drugs and how to make drugs or nutritional products, how to make formulas, right? That's what I've studied. And then how to use those with people to help them. So one of my top expertise is knowing when to take products. So I want to explain to people how they should take these products and when, from someone who's really spent her career studying that.
Entonces, lo que quiere hacer es explicarnos cómo tomar los productos a través de su experiencia, ¿no? Hay diferentes entrenamientos. El entrenamiento de ella es en hacer medicamentos y obviamente desarrollar cuándo es que se toma y cómo se toma. Entonces, ella quiere explicar esto ahora con nuestros productos.
So as a scientist, when we make drugs, we look at what's called peak plasma level, steady state, and basically placebo effects on how the product or drug works in the human body. And we do lots of tests around that.
Okay. Cuando están desarrollando medicamentos, lo que ellos hacen es que ven un par de cosas. Una es que se llama el nivel alto de plasma en la sangre, con un estado estable y también efectos placebo dentro del sistema. Y eso es algo que ellos miden cuando están probando con diferentes dosis.
When we get drugs approved through the FDA, there's 3 things they look at. They do always look at safety and efficacy, but let's take that aside. They look at the steady state, they look at half-life, and they look at peak plasma level to approve a drug and to tell people when they need to take the drug.
Cuando un medicamento sale, 3 cosas que el FDA prueba. Uno es el estado estable. Número 2 es el half-life, con la vida media. Es lo que los efectos del medicamento dura dentro de tu cuerpo. Y el último es el nivel alto del producto en la sangre.
And our products, even though they're not drugs, they have those 3 factors too. We just don't have a package insert that the FDA approves, but our ingredients and our products have all those 3 things as well.
Entonces nuestros productos tienen todos estos 3 puntos, aunque no tenemos un paquetito que se vende como en la farmacia, pero sí tiene esas 3 cualidades.
And a lot of doctors will give different opinions on when they think people should take our products, but I'm going to tell you guys what's the most important factor as far as the products are concerned.
Entonces, obviamente, siempre hay muchos doctores que dicen su opinión acerca de cómo y cuándo tomar nuestros productos, pero ahora ella nos va a dar específicamente el cómo se hace correctamente.
A lot of doctors they have different opinions on what time you should take the drugs or if you should take the drug, I'm sorry, not drugs, what time you should take our products or if you should take our products with or without food. That's like the biggest thing I hear people when they talk about our products discuss. But those aren't the main factors. The main factor is taking the product and making sure you continuously take the product throughout the day. That will really help people's bodies. That you've got to make sure that you hit that peak plasma and keep that steady state. And food impacts it a little bit, time of day impacts it a little bit, but those aren't your most important factors.
Okay. Entonces, muchas de las charlas que suceden acerca de cómo tomar el producto, usualmente terminan siendo que cuándo y si en el estómago vacío con comida en el estómago, pero ella dice de que lo más importante no es eso, sino el estarlos tomando constantemente a través del día.
Yeah, so think about it like this. If you've got an autoimmune disorder or a disease and you want to get rid of bad cells, you want to take more of the product to make sure you get rid of them. If you're taking our product just to support the good cells and not fight anything, you can take them once a day. But if you're fighting something like an autoimmune disorder or cancer, something that's going on, you've got to make sure you're continuously taking them. And if you don't have the money to take 8 packets a day, then you want to split those packets up and take them throughout the day.
Okay, thank you. Entonces, de nuevo, regresa al punto de que si lo único que quieres es darle apoyo a tu sistema, pues está bien si te tomas uno al día nada más. Pero si quieres de verdad atacar problemas, si tienes algún problema de inmunodeficiencia o algún cáncer con el que estás luchando, tienes que tomártelo a través del día. Y algunas personas no tienen las finanzas para comprarse suficiente producto para tomar 8 paquetes al día. Entonces lo que haces es simplemente toma 1 o 2 paquetitos y divídelos, tómate un poquito de cada sobre a través del día.
Yeah. So that's your most important factor. And my job is not to argue with different opinions on that, but I'm letting people know that, because if you're dealing with an illness or you've got a family and you want to, someone in your family or you need to understand that so that you can protect the cells in your body that are good and then get rid of the bad cells. That's how you need to take our products.
Entonces, ella dice que no discute con nadie, lo único que está haciendo es compartiendo lo que se tiene que hacer para que la gente pueda apoyar, limpiar y darle fuerza a las células en su cuerpo.
Should we go like 5 more minutes? Como 5 minutos más. 5 more minutes. Okay. ¿Qué quieren hablar? ¿Qué do you want to say?
Can you teach us about soul and core a little bit, since those are the ones that have impacted your lives greatly? Le pido que nos enseñe un poquito más acerca de soul y core, ya que son los que han impactado su vida grandemente.
Okay, so I have to add that Pure has helped my life too, because I have colitis, which means I have a lot of issues with my stomach, and my family does. And one of the things that's really helped me is Pure. Because if people have stomach issues or GI issues or mental health issues, anxiety and depression, I think people need to know that Pure is a very important product to take. And it also is a product that will help support the other products that we have at Rain. So do you want to tell them that? And then I can tell you really quick about Soul and Core. Yeah.
Yes. Dice que el otro producto que le ha ayudado mucho a ella ha sido Pure, porque ella tiene colitis. Y es algo que le ha ayudado a salir de eso a ella, pero también Pure puede ayudar a la gente que sufre de ansiedad, depresión, y también Pure va a apoyar al resto de los productos porque mejora su absorción también.
Red Soul is a great product if you're pregnant or if you have heart issues or hormone issues, but it's very similar to Soul. But in those particular incidences, when people are pregnant and they start a product, you would want to look at Red Soul first, because the red raspberry actually protects during pregnancy, and there's lots of research articles on that.
Okay. Dice que Sol Rojo es fantástico para las mujeres embarazadas. Si están tratando de tomar algún producto, es fantástico. La semilla de la frambuesa roja tiene mucha sustancia y muchos estudios acerca de cómo protege el embarazo.
Soul, because of the high levels of black cumin seed and red soul and Ben, they all three have very high levels of the black cumin seed oil or the black cumin seed. All of those products help with bacteria, viruses, and parasites. There's even articles that show that if you will put black cumin seed or black cumin seed oil into something that has parasites, they will actually run away, because they can't stand the oil because it kills them. So they actually leave. And one of the main reasons cancer, we know now that cancer occurs is because one of the big factors are parasites in people's bodies. So for me, Sol, Red Sol, or Bend should be taken every day to protect people's body, at least 1 or 2 a day.
Dice que por la cantidad del aceite del comino negro en Sol rojo y en Bend,
puede proteger de la bacteria, de los virus y los parásitos.
Y que ahora se sabe de que por el aceite del comino negro es un antiparásitos, que si pones el aceite donde hay parásitos, que los parásitos huyen, no pueden estar en la presencia del aceite. Y que también hoy en día se está descubriendo que en casos de cáncer usualmente hay parásitos que acompañan a este.
And especially in hot areas of the world, parasites and bacteria and fungus proliferate, they grow quickly. So it's very, very helpful in those parts of the world to really protect the cells and get rid of the bad cells.
Es que son más donde hace más calor en el mundo, es que las bacterias, hongos, ese tipo de cosas crecen mucho, muy rápidamente. Entonces, el ponerle este aceite al cuerpo es importante para nuestras células.
And then core, of course, everyone knows I love core because it helped me personally when I was very, very sick. When they went in to do the surgery on the brain tumor that I had, the brain tumor was gone. And another person I know that has a similar story to that is Temple Swift in Canada. Same thing happened to her. So I went to the hospital to do the surgery and the tumor was gone. And I used very high concentrations of the spirulina, milk thistle, aloe vera, and the greens that we have in core, because I knew the research showed that it helps with tumors and then it helps get rid of the bad things in the body while it's supporting the body. So to me, this particular product is very, very important because how the ingredients have impacted my life.
Hablando de core específicamente, cuando ella tenía el tumor, ella empezó a tomar cantidades concentradas de los mismos ingredientes que hay en core. Y cuando ellos fueron a hacer la operación para tratar de remover el tumor, se dieron cuenta que ya no estaba. Y así que esto ha sido algo muy, muy importante para su vida. Obviamente los ingredientes de core es algo que ha cambiado para ella completamente. También tenemos a Temple Swift en Canadá con una situación extremadamente similar, donde ella tenía un tumor en el cerebro. Después de tomar los productos de Rain por unos meses, ya ella no lo tenía.
Yeah. So I'm very thankful for that. And another thing I want to make sure people know is that the turmeric curcumin that is in our Bend, that particular product and the active that we have in it, that's also known to fight different things that have to do with dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and different things that have with cognitive functioning. So that particular product has that in it as well as the black cumin seed oil. So that's something that I really do recommend that people try as well.
Dice que la curcumina que está dentro de Bend también tiene la habilidad de luchar contra cosas como Alzheimer's, como Parkinson's y otras, la ansiedad, depresión, diferentes enfermedades mentales. Así que este es un producto que él recomienda a todos, más aún cuando lo mezclas con el extracto del comino negro.
I think my time's up.
Perfect. No, I think so. Thank you. Good. Everybody good? Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Pues gracias, Dr. Cook. Thank you so much for jumping on here today. We'll just kind of wrap up here and then I'll call you a little bit later with that other call around.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
Bye.
Pues todos agradecemos a Dr. Cook.